what, man? What you doing?
Yo, Tort, where your head at? I'm talking to you. I know you're low, my man. Carmen giving you divorce papers this morning? That's some low-down, dirty business. Wasn't even your fault. You were baited. The word I heard? Blackmore hired that fool to come pick a fight with you. Coached him to say those lies about your boys. Then, surprise, the police walked right in. Someone tipped him. No coincidence to it. Blackmore was all over that. Now, Blackmore's got collared himself. He's in here now, with the freaks and the fiends and the schemers and us. Now, I can set him up for you, but there's just one hitch in the plan. I never laid eyes on the man. What'd he look like?
Looks like trouble.
Whatever, my man. Shoot, I'll help you bury that motherfucker.
Somebody needs to learn his place.
What's that you gonna do, boy?
Yeah, that's right. I'm a last-minute entry, and now I'm playing this game.
Blackmore owns Eastern now. Particularly you two.
Ain't a living soul that owns Tort. He ain't no slave, and neither am I.
Bluster is the tool of the sucker player.
You shut your mouth when we talk to you. Learn some respect.
You're the only one even letting him play this game. Without you, he's nothing.
When you get an order from Blackmore, you will follow it without question.
Now you're gonna play on my team. You may be tough, but I'm smart, and smart always wins.
Blackmore's got his hooks in this place, and now they're in both of you.
Why do you think Carmen left you? You weren't enough of a player for her.
And if you don't do what Blackmore says, your precious little boys may not make it to junior high.
Fuck all y'all! Ain't no way in the world!
Game's over. Finish these losers.
Sounds like a riot. World's coming. Oh, I feel that. Nice shot, brother.
Y'all been dreaming.
Support needed at cell block E.
I don't know where they got this
Support
vibe
needed
from.
Must have
ASAP.
been some kind of inside job.
Situation correct.
They're firing on us. Slide around.
Return to your cells now.
Look what we have here. You and Blackmore acting like you own Eastern. You probably caused this. Riots or chaos. Casualties are expected.
Now, my man Tort, you want Blackmore.
Yeah! Who's on top and who's on bottom now, motherfucker?
I strap now. Gonna put this to good use.
Can I get a little help, brothers? Mercury's rising up in here.
Yo, sure, we get you guys out. Just stay clear, you know what's good for you. Stay true, y'all.
Hey, move with me, my man. Eastern sinking to the 7th level. We don't want to go down with it. Eastern sinking to the 7th level. We don't want to go down with it.
Shit down, CO.
How you like the other side? Motherfucker still standing. Don't know how.
He'll be out of blood soon. Looks like in line. We got a real predicament here.
I tell you what, I ain't leaving this room till this thing's under control. But no matter how big I am or how many guns I got, there's 10 times the number of them as there is us. Yeah, from the Cirque guy.
This binder contains a quick overview of the different malefactors that Foundation scientists and containment personnel have observed on the streets of Baltimore during our initial sweep. This does not represent the extent of our current knowledge, but provides a succinct overview for those who wish to become acquainted with our subject matter. One of our most interesting finds during the Carnate Island containment operation was a journal written by a fairly intelligent escaping inmate by the name of Clem. He had composed and illustrated a bestiary of all the malefactors he had seen, and had named them in an amusing style. Impressed by his work, we've decided to continue his naming convention herein. Slayer. This is the most pervasive of all the malefactors we've encountered. The Slayer has a basic human body shape, but with blades replacing the legs and arms and a metallic apparatus suspending the head. Given its context, the Slayer's appearance evokes blade-wielding street criminals, though the malefactors' blades are longer and sharper than one would normally find even on the most violent Baltimore streets. Arsonist. This malefactor is most curious because of its ability to survive despite being perpetually engulfed in flame. Its fire is persistent and never extinguishes for as long as its host lives. Its flesh appears to flake off as it chars, yet the malefactor seems unhurt. Baltimore has a high incidence of abandoned building fires, often with squatters and other impoverished people trapped in these run-down buildings and burned alive. If only they could survive as well as the arsonist. Gorger. Along with the Carnate Island malefactor the Fester, this gorger is distinct because of its constant need to feed as part of its innate behavior. With its incredibly sharp teeth and highly muscled jaw, this malefactor seems built to do precisely that. This creature appears to be the incarnation of a popular Baltimore urban legend that tells of an insatiable creature that feeds on whatever it can find. Triggerman. A human corpse forms the center of this malefactor. The body appears to have suffered multiple gunshot wounds, particularly to its head, which has lost a significant portion of its mass. The malefactor's legs are vaguely arachnid in form and incorporate some type of automatic rifle. As with the Slayer, this Triggerman seems to tie to Baltimore's tragically prevalent street crime, with a high number of homicides each year resulting from gun violence. Mainliner. An offshoot of the mainliner seen on Carnate, this malefactor's appearance is evocative of the numerous junkies that one finds in Baltimore's poorest neighborhoods. Its innate behavior is to assault enemies with its syringes, suggesting that it's more of an aggressive drug dealer than a drug abuser. The syringes we have analyzed contain a unique heroin-derived marksman. This malefactor is nearly identical to the ones we saw in large quantities on Carnate Island. It wears a giant battery of rifles on its back and is able to erupt out of the ground, a particularly impressive sight due to its significant size. In Baltimore's troubled past, there were a few rare occasions of the military being called out to quell civilian uprisings. One can only imagine how this marksman ties to those intense events. Mauler. One of the few malefactors that does not derive from a human skeleton, these beasts do still feature a hideous human skull. Named the Mauler for their savage biting attacks, these malefactors are relentless in their pursuit of a target and seem to be insatiable in their appetite for human flesh. Their appearance often coincides with the manifestation of an apparition, a large human who seems to be their master. Burrower. Cities are built on the backs of those who labored and died to build their underground infrastructure. Just as those laborers needed to adapt to their hostile working conditions, so too has this burrower. This malefactor actually moves beneath the surface of the earth at tremendous speed. The exact physics of how it accomplishes this remain a mystery, especially given that it can successfully tunnel through a wide variety of materials. Suppressor. The suppressor is surprisingly mobile, given that it's missing a number of its limbs and seems to have lost some of its senses. This malefactor can only see enemies when they step into its intense beam of light, but it is relentless once it's spotted a target. Given its appearance and its tendency to show up near Eastern Baltimore Correctional, it seems to be connected to that institution's infamous and brutal Correctional Emergency Response Team, CERT. Isolationist. This malefactor thrives in the darkness and tries to make its environment as dark as possible by disabling or destroying light sources. We've not been able to get a good look at the isolationist, let alone capture one. It appears to have a unique relationship with a cockroach-like malefactor, the Wretch, which it spawns in large numbers. One cannot help but think of inmates locked away in solitary when one glimpses the isolationist. The Horde. By far, this is the largest malefactor that we have witnessed. It is unclear to us if the Horde is unique or if we have simply never seen more than one at a time. It seems like a distant, much larger cousin to the Burrower, but obviously more deadly and destructive. This gigantic malefactor appears to have countless small animal heads sprouting from its body, evoking a mob or horde come to visit their uncontrollable anger upon the unwary. Trigger.
Having worked long and hard on my scrapbook history of Carnate Island, I wanted something a bit less depressing to take on next. I thought our state's largest city might be an interesting subject and spend a large portion of my time off the island delving into the history of Baltimore. I cherished my time away from Carnate, but I soon found that Charm City had its own share of dark events from the past. And now I wonder, is it me? Do I seek out these horrible tragedies when I investigate the history of a place? Has Carnate changed me to be fixated on death and horrible suffering? Or is the evil everywhere, if you look hard enough? Baltimore Harbor. Baltimore owes its existence to its geography. It was a major port for the clipper ships of the 18th century, and to this day is a major shipping center on the eastern seaboard. The shipping industry certainly has its seedy side, with criminals and corruptions infesting it in the past and still today. With numerous underused and abandoned facilities, if you ask a resident of Baltimore what exactly the city's docks are used for, likely they would not be able to tell you. Canal Street Mission. One of Baltimore's most tragic stories takes place during the Great Depression. In the 1930s, there was a reverend who, when his soup kitchen ran bare, served up human corpses to his starving followers. This is tied to a persistent urban legend about a creature known as the Gorger. During the food shortages, mothers would tell their children that the Gorger had eaten all of their food, and if they did not behave, he might soon eat them as well. The tunnels. As with any major city of a certain age, beneath Baltimore there are more tunnels than any one person can remember. The working conditions endured while these passages were built were unsafe and site of a lynch. The tunnels. As with any major city of a certain age, beneath Baltimore there are more tunnels than any one person can remember. An old station. A slave station. Site of a black.
I never threw any of it out. Some of my girlfriends now, they get mad at their boyfriend or husband or whoever. They throw away everything that reminds them of him. Burn it up, tear it to pieces, whatever. As mad as I got at T, I never threw out any of the things that made me remember him. Part of me wanted to forget he ever happened, but another part of me wouldn't let go of the hope that it would all work out in the end. Corey and Malcolm mean everything to me, and it's because of them I get so mad at T. I just want what's best for them, and sometimes I don't know if their father realizes how important he is to their happiness. But T's been doing a good job with them since I moved to Manhattan. Now I miss them more than I ever imagined. And I know I have to be with them again. And if that means taking T back, well, stranger things have happened. Miles is probably T's best friend. He's smart, and I think he has good intentions, but he always seems to be getting into trouble and bringing T down with him. He owns a dive bar called the Underground, and that was where T got into that fight that sent him to jail. I always wondered what part Miles played in all that. I tried so hard to keep T away from influences that would bring us down, but I didn't have much luck. I remember the smell of Eastern even from the outside. It seemed like forever they kept us waiting outside in the rain. Standing there, seeing the other women visiting their men. I just got mad. The Garvey Children's Home sounds so innocent, but I think it was filled with little monsters. T never told me much about this place, but I learned about it when he would wake up screaming at night. He'd be yelling that he just wanted to be left alone.
Let's get up here, then I'll see about leaving. Not 1 minute earlier, neither. Oh yeah? Then come up into here and fire me face to face.
What you packing? You're my man with the skills. Go snag that heat. That's what I'm talking about. It's open. Follow with me. coming. It's damn inconvenient. You're gonna have to deal with it. I'm out.
Everything we think we know will be proven wrong, and the suffering we all feel inside will show itself in the rape of the
This kind of shit warms my soul. See hoes burn good. We got any handy? Good clean fun there, boys. Keep this spot
Blackmore's got a deal for you. He says you can be back in our crew.
All you gotta do is make your bones.
Shouldn't be hard for you. You know about killing. Whack this guard, and all will be forgiven.
Come on, T. You know better.
You know the guards should all die.
No. Don't kill me.
Kill this fucking hack. Then I gotta side you're on.
cock-sucking whore!
I sliced her top to bottom so as to see her inner self.
Weapons first, then we'll forget you have.
Realize your feet only get longer while this keeps going on.
It's married right now, see? Then you come give it to me. I'll give you something too.
down in here? You still with me, Torque? My man. We in this together, baby. To the end. For always and forever. We gotta get together on this. I'll go through here and open up the way through.
The pawn's off the board. Now only the real players are left in the game. Ready for checkmate? For you.
Wake up, T. Come back to the present. I need you. We all need you. You made it, T. Through so much, all because you could never control your anger. You got off that island, but you can never really go home. Not to what we had before. Coming back to Baltimore won't solve your problems. It will only create new ones.
Coast Guard vessel, dock your craft. Debriefing is mandatory. That was not smart. We're debriefing everyone coming off Carnate. We need to know what happened.
This way. We have a place you can get warm just up here.
Doesn't matter, we just need to get him inside ASAP. This guy's the Prime.
Really? Him?
Positive. Jordan's waiting for him. With me. 1, 2, 3, lift!
He's coming too.
Let him. Jordan will want him awake anyway.
That'll be some first date.
Shut it! No shit. You were on that company op in Laos? I can neither confirm nor deny that. Yeah, fuck that. That was one motherfucking hot damn shitty swamp from hell.
Tango unit and Delta unit to observation booth tackle building. They're waiting for you.
Fuck the services, man. charged to them out. How many specimens your squad bring back? Specimens? Are we supposed to be bringing back specimens? Shit. Jordan's gonna shoot you.
Echo unit, departure in 1 minute. Just sit tight there. Your official welcoming committee will be here in just a minute.
Key in the chatter. She...
Alert. Security breach. Alert. One of the specimens has become unsecured. Support staff to Tanker facility. All armed personnel to tackle building. Repeat, to tackle building. Scramble Romeo unit, Victor unit, Echo unit, stand by for further instructions. Hostile last seen in tackle
light's
building.
going to come back on.
We should just sit tight.
Anyway, like I was saying, I don't know what she thinks we're going to learn from all of this. There's so much new here.
Jacobson was telling me the tissue samples he collects degenerate before he can even get them under the scope.
Is he going with the live samples plan?
We don't have any better ideas, and Jordan's riding him to get results now. But sedation doesn't seem to last more than a minute on these things. And it doesn't change the simple fact that we just have no idea what we're dealing with.
I'm not sure I want to have a better idea. Okay, I'm ready for the lights to come on now.
Shh, we'll be okay.
Oh crap, what's that?